What is going on, guys? In today's video I will show you the top 3 best builds in the Division 2 Year 6 Season 3. So in this guide I will give you a quick overview of each setup, then I will explain what skills and upgrades should you focus on. Then as well we'll see what is the best gear and how to get it for the endgame. And then finally we will go over the best weapons, stats, your attributes, and even what mods and specific specializations should you use, so we would be able to get the highest damage possible and much more. Also, if you're interested in buying other PC or console games with 50 or 70% discount, then check out Instant Gaming. For example, I want to buy Elden Ring, so we just click on Add to Cart, then click Pay, then input our details and pay. After payment is complete, we will receive activation key, then copy and paste the key in, and it's that simple. So what are you waiting for? Click my link description and check out Instant Gaming for yourself. Moving over to the first one, which is the Crit Engine Light Machine Gun build. The setup balances survivability, damage output, and skill utility with a solid HD level of a 2800 and a specified combination of high tier gear and weapons. So if you're ready to push through the endgame content and do crazy amount of damage while being tanky, then this is the one for you. Let's start with the weapons. Our primary weapon is the ST Elements Engine, which is an exotic assault rifle. Its arms overflow talent will ramp up damage quickly by feeding off the status effects and the reload synergy, making it ideal for sustained firefights where you can chain kills. It's perfect for aggressive push plays and clearing waves of enemies. For attachments we are going with the Optics C79 scope, that gives us plus 5% crit chance. Then for underbarrel we got the laser pointer, which improves accuracy / stability. Then for muzzle we want the critical hit damage or the accuracy mod. And lastly for magazine we got the extended mag, to maximize uptime or faster reload, if you rely on its talent. Now the secondary weapon is the Iron Lung LMG. This weapon is all about sustained fire and raw suppression. It comes with unique target practice talent, which rewards you for consistent body shots by stacking stability and accuracy. While LMGs are usually slower, the Iron Lung will bridge the gap between the control and the damage output. And as we can't change magazine and the scope, so we are only using the muzzle slot with a 5% critical hit chance. This will help us to reach the crit cap when stacking with gear. And then for the underbarrel rail we will get the angled grip, that gives us plus 10% stability. And lastly for the sidearm, here you can equip whatever you prefer. Next up we have gear, and for the mask we got the Grupo Sombra. The core is the weapon damage and the attributes are crit chance and the crit damage. This is perfect for stacking with core stats and boosting overall DPS, which is also ideal for assault rifle builds. Then for chest we're using the Fenris group. The talent is the Unbreakable and attributes are again the crit chance and the crit damage. This will give us a 10% AR damage. And Unbreakable gives you a second chance by restoring the armor on a break. Then for backpack we got the Seska Vairoba. The talent is an adrenaline rush, and for the attributes it has a crit stats. This backpack will give us a crit chance bonus by helping us to hit that 60% crit chance cap. Then for gloves we're using the Contractors with attributes that gives us damage to armor and weapon damage. These are classic gloves for the AR builds, and their damage to armor is great for tackling elites or the tankier enemies. Then for the knee pads we got the Fog Sprayer with the attributes to damage targets out of cover. This gives us massive damage boost in open fights. It pairs perfectly with the AR's ability to suppress and fight in mid-range. And lastly for the holster we got the Providence Defense. For attributes it has crit damage and weapon handling. This is a good slot to boost crit damage and the general weapon feel. The main idea behind this setup is that each gear piece will focus on maximizing your crit chance and the crit damage, and with just enough survivability to stay alive under pressure. Next up we have specialization, and we want to go with the gunner. From this we get ammo regeneration, so the gunner's passives will give us a 10% rate of fire and the ammo regeneration on a kill. And this synergies perfectly with our ST Elmos Engine's aggressive playstyle. Then also we get 10% LMG damage. This has a direct synergy with our Iron Lung, making it hit even harder. Then on top of this we get the bonus armor on a kill. It provides sustain in long fights and compensates for running red core builds with a lower armor regen. Then for skills we got only tier 1, so we aren't focused on the skill damage, but they just play a small key support role. First we're using the Stinger Hive. This is a passive damage skill that punishes rushers and supports aerial denial. It's especially good when holding an objective or a tight space. While for the second skill we got the Crusader's Ballista Shield, which lets you face tank enemies while still firing our weapon. This synergizes with the Unbreakable, giving you layered survivability. It also pairs well with the Adrenaline Rush or the Gunner's bonus on armor kill, letting you sustain while also shooting up close. And now let's take a look at the gameplay. This build excels in aggressive mid to range combat. You want to open fights with the Estes Elmos engine, letting its talent stack up damage over time, then push aggressively by activating your shield, and use the Stinger's Hive to cover flanks or retreat paths. Enemies will melt under the crit stack damage, and Unbreakable will give you room to make mistakes. The combo of the Fox Sprayer and the Contractor's Gloves will make the short work of tougher enemies, especially elites and the named targets. And then as far as cover goes, use it sparingly, as you're tanky enough to play up front. Then for our second one, let's deep dive into the powerful new hybrid setup, aka the Pulse and the Flame hybrid build. This setup combines debuffing, fire burst windows, and consistent weapon support by using a core of skill damage enhancing gear and the capacitator driven feedback loop. This build holds down its own to tougher content while melting enemies in a burst. If you enjoy controlling the fight, punishing enemies with AoV burns, and deleting elite treads with debuffs, then this is the one for you. Let's start with the weapons. Our primary weapon is the Capacitator. This exotic AR is the heart of the build. Its talent, the Capacitance, gives you a 7% skill damage per weapon hit, stacking up to 40 times. It also grants one skill tier while equipped, and that's the key for this setup, since we are running skills that scale hard with the damage boosts. This weapon provides both solid damage and a massive skill power ramp, making it perfect for alternating between weapon fire and the skill usage. Then for attachments we are going with the Optic C79, for 5% critical hit chance. Then for underbarrel we got the Laser Pointer, which enables the linked pulse for Technician and improves stability. Then for muzzle we got a critical hit damage or the accuracy, and this depends on your recoil preference. And lastly for the magazine we got the Extended Mag to build stacks faster and sustain pressure. Then for our secondary weapon we got the Military AKM. This is meant as a hard-hitting fallback. While it's not the focus here, it works great in clutch moments when your skills are on cooldown, or the Capacitator is out of ammo. Ideally we will use it in a flatline or the pulsed enemies or in a sync. But of course, this depends on your playstyle. With the Archline's Pulse in a play, the flatline will become lethal, amplifying 15% more weapon damage to a pulse targets. And for attachments we're using pretty much the same ones. And then as far as your choice of sidearm goes, so pretty much anything with a future perfection or in the sync can be helpful as a finisher or a skill booster. Next up we have gear, and we want to maximize skill damage and the crit synergy with the Capacitator, while supporting skill uptime and survivability. First up we got the mask, which is the Empress International. The core is the skill tier and the attributes are skill damage and the status effects. Also, the one piece bonus will give us a 10% skill health. This piece will build your yellow core base and add excellent uptime for the sticky bomb and the pulse. Then for chest we got the Wyvern Burr. His talent is a glass, and for core we got the skill tier, while for attributes we got the skill damage and a crit chance. This piece will add a 10% skill damage and turns you into a burst damage monster, though at the cost of squishiness. Next we have a backpack called Memento with a 3 hybrid cores. This is the Lichpin. His long-term stacks 30% skill efficiency, 3% armor regen and 30% weapon damage. It fits in this hybrid build perfectly, giving you tankiness and gun power in just one slot. Then for gloves we got the Empress International. Her core is the skill tier, while for attributes we got the skill damage and the status effects. This is another Empress piece to increase your skill output and make the burn effect stronger. Then for knee pads we got the Fenris group. Its core is a weapon damage, while for attributes we got the crit chance and the weapon handling. This will help you to balance gunplay effectiveness. And lastly we are using the Wyvern Burr holster. For core we got the skill tier, while for the attributes we want skill damage and the status effects. This piece rounds out the build with strong burn scaling, while mainly benefiting our sticky bomb. Next we got specialization, and we are going with the Technician. This one is crucial for hitting tier 6 and getting the 12% extra skill damage. First we are using the Agile's Pulse, which is great for target debuffing that marks enemy weak points. It amplifies your damage against marked areas like the head, armor or a health, and it lasts for several seconds. It's perfect to open fights with or expose elites to follow-up bursts. Well then for the second one we got the Sticky Bomb. This is your AoV nuke tool. It lights up clustered enemies and spreads burn status, building up for massive damage over time. We can combo this with the Agile's Pulse to land it on exposed targets and then watch them melt. You'll get the best results when enemies are grouped up in a cover or in a choke point. And now last, let's take a look at the gameplay. This build excels at the burst pressure and the control. We want to start fights by pulsing the target with the Acolyte's pulse, which makes enemies more vulnerable. Then use your burn sticky bomb when you spot a cluster, as it can soften entire packs of enemies, and then follow that up with the capacitator, using not just for kills but also to stack skill damage for your next rotation. Your goal here is rhythm, by alternating between the weapon and the skill usage. And after dropping a skill, reload or shoot few times to stack damage back up. This loop will keep both of your cooldowns and DPS rotation efficiently. If you get rushed, then fall back and let the Memento heal you with armor regen, or then just tap the AKM to punish enemies that are still under the pulse debuff. In solo play, you're a debuffer, distributor, and AoV assassin, while in groups, you're support DPS, opening up opportunities for your team by marking targets and setting up fires. And now for the last one, we have explosive turret build. This setup is a destructive powerhouse, designed around the synergy of a full auto rifle fire, explosive skills, and tier 6 tech with the turrets. It combines weapon damage with a skill burst and AoV control, making it ideal for clearing tight mobs, locking down areas, or raining destruction from a safe distance. If you enjoy dropping bombs while still dishing out rifle crits, then this hybrid is for you. Starting off with our weapons, and our primary one is the Bighorn. This exotic rifle has a unique mechanic. While scoped, it switches to a semi-auto and ramps up damage massively. But in this build, we are focusing on its full auto mode, which still performs excellently with the crit stats. Its talent, Big Game Hunter, will increase weapon damage on distance and the headshots, and it synergizes well with both solo and the team play, where you can take advantage of elevation or the range. Attachment-wise, we are going with the C79 scope, which gives us 5% crit chance. Then for muzzle, we got the critical hit damage mod. This boosts your DPS without relying on a headshot. Then for underbarrel, we got the laser pointer. This is great for linked pulse marking with our specialization. And lastly, for the magazine, we got the high capacity mag, which is ideal for sustained fire without constantly reloading. Then for our secondary weapon, we are going with the classic M1A rifle, which is a strong semi-auto precision that complements the Bighorn's rhythm. This is your finisher or the elite killer tool. Ideally, you want in the sync talent here, as it will boost weapon and the skill damage whenever both are used together, by reinforcing the hybrid loop when we are aiming. And as well, you want to use the same attachments. And finally, your sidearm is everyone's personal preference, but a good pick would be a pistol with the future perfection or in the sync, in case if you need a quick tier bump or backup skill burst in close quarters. Now let's take a look at the gear. For the mask, we're going with the China's Light Industries. The core is the skill tier, while the attributes are skill damage plus explosive damage. This is a core piece of our build. It also gives us 15% explosive damage with a brand bonus. Then for chest, we got the Wyvern Wear. The core is the skill tier, while for the attributes we got skill damage plus the crit chance. And the talent is a glass cannon. This piece gives us 10% skill damage from the brand and doubles down with a glass cannon, which amplifies all damage dealt by 25%. You'll be squishy, but the burst potential makes it worth it if you're careful with the positioning. Next up for backpack, we got the Empress International. The core is the skill tier, while for the attributes we got skill damage plus the skill haste, and then also the talent is combined arms. This gives you 25% skill damage for 3 seconds after damaging an enemy with your weapon, which pairs perfectly with the Bighorn's full auto pressure. Then for gloves we got the Grupo Sombra. The core is the weapon damage, while for the attributes we have crit damage and explosive damage. These gloves will balance crit support for your Bighorn while still feeding into your explosive scaling. Then for knee pads we got the Fenris group. The core is the weapon damage, while for the attributes we have crit chance plus the weapon handling. The plus 10% AR damage will help the Bighorn hit harder, and it smooths out the recoil for easier landing of those burst shots in a semi-auto or the full auto modes. And finally, for the holster, we got the Empress International. The core is a skill tier, while for the attributes we got skill haste plus explosive damage. This completes our Empress 2-piece bonus, giving us even more skill efficiency, and bringing our drone plus the turret cooldowns down to cycle them faster. Then for specialization, we are using the Malanationist, which is the backbone of this entire setup. This is a big one, directly boosting our Bombardier drone and the sticky skills. Then also we get the linked laser pointer. This auto pulses enemies targeted with the weapons. This feeds nicely into the skill buffs or the flatline builds. Next up we have our skills, and both for abilities will hit extremely hard. So first we get Assault Turret. This is your autopilot damage dealer, so set it and forget it while you take cover or flank. It draws aggro, dishes consistent damage, and pairs well with the combined arms for the buff. And then second we got the Bombardier Drone. This is your finisher skill. Time it right to launch multiple bombs on the enemy clusters. It works best when targets are pulsed or grouped up behind the cover. All you need to do is learn its delay and the targeting zone, and you'll destroy entire packs with just one launch. And now lastly, let's go over the gameplay. This is a frontline hybrid setup with a high burst form skills and constant weapon pressure. You want to open fights by deploying your assault turret to anchor a lane or an angle. Then while your turret jaws aggro, use your big horn in a full auto mode to pressure the enemies, stacking crits and activating the combined arms. Then when the enemies are clustered and reinforced, then use the Bombardier Drone, which will become a big play, so aim it carefully to cover a large area. And then from there, just alternate between the skill rotation and the long-range bighorn shots. And finally, you can scope in for big semi-auto bursts on the elites, or just stick to a full auto for the mob clearing.